Come on down to Zebra Cult Gaming Oasis, the highest rated place in the Oasis, as it is the only one. Hey there, what are you doing here? Desert wouldn't be my first choice for a winter solstice destination. Don't you need snow for your themed greeting cards? Or do you require a cult game for your festivities? Well, while I certainly have no snow, I do have a cult game. But yes, I can take your picture next to the cactus. As soon as I gush about this cult game, of course, what makes someone a hero? Is it their actions, the consequences of their actions, the intent and morals behind their actions? Or perhaps it is simply defined by those with the power to change themselves and the world around them. One thing is for sure, that's the exact opposite of who we play as in this indie RPG. Cthulhu, the Elder God, bringer of chaos, and snarkiest protagonist of them all. After a terrible run-in with an anti-present which sucked his power, he needs to team up with Santa's granddaughter, an ice mage, a hobo throwing candy, and a chicken-obsessed 1,000-year-old kid witch. Please don't ask questions. In order to fight eldritch abominations in this holiday-themed RPG, so that Cthulhu can finally save Santa and give him the biggest customer complaint of them all. Yeah, you go, Karen. Or Cthulhu-Aaron. So what can I say to convince you that this game deserves not just love, but cult classic status? First thing, this is a prequel sequel to Cthulhu Saves the World. Because people love prequels, am I right? Both are made using the RPG Maker engine, which has the most cult classics to its name as a tool. I think. Don't debate me on that. But most of those use puzzle, survival, and horror chase elements, whereas this one is actually an RPG. Yes, an RPG, made an RPG Maker. I know! Well, that might not sound surprising. What is surprising is that most RPGs tend to focus on a medieval fantasy-style setting, whereas this one decides to combine eldritch abominations with holiday-themed dungeons, giving it a style reminiscent of stuff like Nightmare Before Christmas. I love the pixel art of the town and the characters, and all of the messed up monsters and beautiful locations. One or two things help it stand out from the average RPG. First off, we can customize what moves we go into battle with, however you are also limited to what you can bring into battle. These 4 moves you get to choose, and then these 4 moves are picked out of a hat at random. Which means that, yeah, you can equip some good moves, but at the same time, you're always going to have to be adapting to what the enemy brings and what random chance decides to give you this turn. Having to adapt your battle strategy every single time you go into battle certainly makes it very different and stand out from the rest of the RPG crowd. Also, your time between dungeons allows you to hang out, as the kids say, with your party members or townsfolk, and not only gives you equipment and items, but also hilariously well-written interactions between characters. Now, why would Cthulhu help wrap presents or sing carols or go ice skating? Well, the town's stuck in a permanent loop of Christmas Eve until Santa can bring Christmas Day, so you're just waiting on information to come back on the Clawsnapper's whereabouts. So you might as well do some downtime between dungeons. It reminds me of Persona to a small degree. While saving Christmas may sound standard, and beating up eldritch monsters is nothing unique, the dichotomy between the chaotic, selfish protagonist and the lawful good people of Christmastown creates a hilarious dichotomy that the story writing uses to its full advantage. Cthulhu wants Santa to restore his power, and that's about it. Disappointed children? Do not care. Workplace politics? Not my circus. Santa? Well, I need him. Someone that selfish can quickly come across as flat and just jerky. He also quips about game mechanics, and yes, meta humor is overplayed nowadays. They do space them out somewhat. It's not every single line. I mean, it's every other line, but if you're into meta humor, you're not going to mind. If you find it overplayed, you're probably not going to enjoy the writing here. But while he's certainly a very selfishly motivated character, the dichotomy between his selfishness and the people of the Christmas town absolutely makes for great, hilarious interactions. His lack of morality compared to the morality of everyone around him certainly makes him an atypical and very unique protagonist for a Save Christmas-themed game. And they don't just redeem him after one Christmas-themed interaction. Controls don't reinvent the wheel because they don't need to. They're simple, and they work. Except for main menu being on X instead of plus. Seriously, why do people keep doing this? But that's a minor nitpick. Also, they made an interactive way of skipping battles, with a smaller window each time you press the button. But you can either choose to skip battles, or you can choose to fight the house minimum and then be awarded with a bunch of bonus XP and not having random battles show up anymore. But you'll always have the button on the main menu if you want to grind some enemies. And they have a very simple, very quick tutorial with minimal hand-holding, giving the player all of these items, equipment, different move sets for different characters, plus control over how often they get the random battles. Gives the player much more control in how they choose to play the game, which I appreciate. Cthulhu Saves Christmas utilizes a lot of fun RPG mechanics to make fights fun and rewarding, with options to customize some but not all of your abilities, meaning each fight requires adapting to not just the favorite ailment of the enemy, but also what insanity abilities you have for the next few turns. I mean, thankfully you re-roll every few turns when you take a defensive break. Plus there's a hyper mode every few turns, which gives some of your abilities extra damage, extra ailments, extra effects. And while I love the style of the dungeons and the varied enemies, all dungeons feel like corridors with few paths besides the 2 chests with new equipment. And if you develop the right downtime activities, you'll already have arguably better equipment. And I find the lack of control and interactivity in the Christmas Down sections, besides picking a background for a dialogue, leading to the equipment GIF, disappointing. There's enough fun stuff going on in town that you won't see everything in one playthrough, mostly because your interactions have multi-episode parts, meaning you'll get some dialogue here and then have to go back for more dialogue with such and such character, or more dialogue for a new piece of equipment, or meeting the person at another place. But it does provide a reason to go back for New Game Plus. I find it a little lacking in interactivity. It's not bad, it's just, do you like RPG fights and dialogue scenes? Then you'll like this game. If you want more than that, look somewhere else. All of that sounds just okay. What really makes this game appealing comes from how powerful you feel in succeeding in combat. Enemies can and will mop the floor with you and your remains. If you don't know and use your abilities efficiently, this is not a game that forgives mistakes. Plus, the game isn't that punishing. You can save whenever, change difficulty settings whenever, grind for an easier time, or skip battles for more difficult boss fights. I appreciate the developers for making a tough but fair game with an easy way to pick the steepness of your experience. And enjoy the story for all of the wild, eldritch Christmas-themed mayhem, with a dash of meta-humor. Okay, it's more than a dash, it's a spilled bottle of meta-humor, okay? But I enjoy all the crazy bosses, fourth wall breaks, and dark, but not too dark humor of the experience. But by far the best aspect of this game comes from New Game Plus. Not just for how it allows you to play a higher difficulty with new, better gear, and even more gear and dialogue, but features Cthulhu ranting at the player at the beginning of it. I love that Cthulhu's fourth wall break here yelling at the player really highlights the inherent weirdness of a New Game Plus mode, with Cthulhu ranting and raving about how you weren't satisfied, but at the same time they made the game so much fun, so I wanted to play again with a new experience. But at the same time, doesn't that, in and of itself, cheapen the experience? I do appreciate his companions obviously highlighting the positives of it. I've got to be honest, this one rant by Cthulhu may be the main reason why I consider this a cult classic, because Cthulhu gives a very good argument against New Game Plus, and then as you play New Game Plus, he remains depressed and frustrated about the whole experience, basically telling every boss, we already beat you once, shut up, get out of the way. But the fact that they managed to make me feel bad for a fictional tentacle monster going through the game a second time really gives me such a feeling of, I don't know, ludonarrative dissonance, I guess? On the one hand, I am really enjoying New Game Plus, but on the other hand, Cthulhu makes a point. If the game was truly fun and satisfying, wouldn't I have moved on? But at the same time, they made it so fun and satisfying that I want to keep playing with new bells and whistles, but at the same time, those new bells and whistles don't really change the game that much, and it doesn't pretend to change the game that much, which I appreciate the honesty of. This game guilt-tripped me over a fictional character's frustration at the Sisyphean absurdity of New Game Plus mode. But doesn't the act of perseverance truly define a hero? What else can define the role of a protagonist, if not the willingness to pursue their goal no matter the setbacks, even if, like Sisyphus, the goal appears impossible? But only by picking yourself up after disappointment or defeat and continuing to strive for a better tomorrow can you achieve your dreams. Cthulhu may not love the title, but will endure and overcome, just like heroes always do. But what makes a good cult? Just say the title out loud. Come on. Admit it to yourself. You thought I was making it up, didn't you? Say it to your friends. Hear them tell you you're making that up. Tell them it's a prequel to Cthulhu Saves the World and see how they react then. It's the sort of game that perfectly encapsulates cult classic because it does sound like a stupid idea on paper. And it does have mechanics that are actively out to make you question reality. But if this is your jam, this will really be your jam. And that's kind of what cult classics are. They're the pepper jam at the grocery store. If you love it, you're really gonna love it, but not everyone is going to. Who wants to see another saccharine Christmas story when you can see Cthulhu smashing Jack Ross? Jack Ross? Jack Ross! No, not Jack Ross. He's my favorite character from Eyes of the Ardians. Who wants to see another saccharine Christmas story when you can see Cthulhu punching Jack Frost in the face so he can save Santa to get the power to destroy the world? That seems very off-brand for Santa, don't it? Thank you so much for coming back to the Zebra Cult Gaming Oasis. I know my output is slow, but I am going to try and work on making it a regularly scheduled thing. Yes, the desert does get cold at night in the winter. Yes, I can take your picture next to the cactus. I do hope you'll find a new favorite amongst the weird and bizarre of the strangest of gaming. Please let me know what strange games I should check out next, and please check out Cthulhu Saves Christmas. Do you agree with me that it's a cult classic? Do you think I'm completely off my rocker? Of course I am. I left my rocking chair at home. Check out Cthulhu Saves Christmas for yourself, and by the way, Merry Christmas! What do you mean Christmas was a month ago? Happy New Year! I gotta hexing work on my making a better schedule for myself.